Good day, students. Today we'll be looking at grid referencing, which is a technique that we use in map skills to locate places. There are basically two types of grid referencing, 4-figure and 6-figure grid referencing. If you're familiar with Google Earth technology, whenever you type in the name of a place and you click enter, you notice it zooms right down into the place that you have typed in, whether it is the name of a street or the name of a building or the name of a community. It goes directly to that place, even if it's a country. This is the reason that is actually grid referencing being incorporated into today's modern technology. Even in modern warfare, cruise missiles are actually guided by the grid referencing or the coordinates that are inputted into the computer that actually instructs the cruise missile to hit a particular target. So it'll go around or over any obstacle in order to hit that direct target. Once again, that is grid referencing being incorporated into modern day technology. So as much as we're doing it right now in its simplest form, let me let you know that it is still relevant in today's society. Now, the map is divided into lines running vertically and horizontally. Now, these lines are known as grid lines because when they come together, they form a mesh, and that mesh that they form is what we considered a grid. Now, the lines numbering from west to east are what we call eastings, while the lines that are numbered from south to north are what we call northings. Alright, so here we have our horizontal line and then we have our vertical lines. When we put them together, they form this pattern, which is called a grid. The green lines, which are the vertical lines, which are the horizontal lines, are what we consider to be the northings, while the purple lines represent what we call the eastings. And we'll get into why they are called so as we move on. So as we superimpose them against this map, we have our purple lines, which represents the eastings, and now we have our green lines, which represents the northings. Now the northings are the lines that are numbered from 60 all the way to 64. So whenever we count them, we say 60, 61, 62, 63, 64. Whenever we count them, you notice we're counting in a northerly direction, as the arrow implies there to your left. That is the reason why we call them northings. So whenever we're counting in a northerly direction. So as we said, we start here at 60, 61, 62, 63, 64. If you notice as you're counting, you're going in a northerly direction, and that is the reason why we call them northings. Now the purple lines, which represents the eastings, are normally counted from west to east. And we start counting from 90 all the way to 96. So we say 90, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96. If you notice, as we're counting them, we're moving in a easterly direction. And that is the reason why we call these purple lines eastings. So as we count from 90 to 96, we're actually moving in a easterly direction. So now we are going to start off with 4-figure grid referencing. It is the simplest of the two types of grid referencing. And basically, it gives you a more general location of a place. So if there is a large lake or a community or some other large area of land, we tend to use the 4-figure grid referencing because it's basically more suited for that purpose. But if we're looking for a building, a specific building, for example, then, or maybe a road junction, for example, then we imply what is called the six-figure grid referencing, but that's for another time as we advance in our lesson. So the first thing is to read the eastings and then you read the northings. So whenever you're doing grid referencing, especially four-figure grid referencing, you must first read the eastings and then you read the northings. It is best that you read the eastings, that the place for which you're looking for is located directly east of, and the northing, that the place is located directly north of. All right, students, so now we're going to try to find our four-figure grid reference. Now the four-figure grid reference only contains four figures or four numbers. So in order to do this, we're first going to read the easting, then we're going to read the northing. That is the rule. So we'll read the easting first, then the northing. In order to determine which easting we're going to read, we have to first of all look to see which easting is the quarry located immediately east of. Oh yes, we are going to be finding the four-figure grid reference for the quarry. In order to do so, we need to know which easting the quarry is located immediately east of. So if we examine our grid, we see that the quarry is located immediately east of easting 92. Not 91, not 93. The quarry is located immediately east of easting 92. So therefore, 92 is going to be our first two figures. So we're going to emphasize it there, all right, with our red line. Even though 92 is a separate number on its own, we still treat the two numbers 9 and 2 as two separate entities, all right? So therefore, our first two figures in our four-figure grid reference for the quarry is 92, or just simply say 92. It doesn't hurt to say that either. Okay. The reason why we say 92, just to remind you, is that the quarry is located immediately east of easting 92. That is the reason why we're using 92. Okay, now we need to find the third and fourth figures in our four-figure grid reference. With that, we have to now look to see what is the the northing of which the quarry is located immediately north of. When we examine our grid, once again, we realize that the quarry is located immediately north of northing 62. Here we highlight through our green line. So, the quarry is located north of northing 62. This means that 62 are the third and fourth figures in our four-figure grid reference for the quarry. Therefore, class, the four-figure grid reference for the quarry is 9262. Once again, the four-figure grid reference for the quarry is 9262. Okay, let's try another one. What about Farm B? Now, look at the grid once more and try to decipher for yourself which easting is Farm B located immediately east of. Now, if you say it is 94, then you are indeed correct. Farm B is located immediately east of easting 94. So we're going to highlight that line right there. So therefore, our first two figures are 94. All right. Now, which northing is Farm B located immediately north of? Okay, Farm B is located immediately north of northing 61. So because it's located north of northing 61, it means therefore our third and fourth figures are 6 and 1, or just simply 61. So therefore, class, our four-figure grid reference for the farm B is 9461, or 9461. In the same way, village B is located east of northing 94 and north of northing 63. That means the four-figure grid reference for village B is 9463. Let's look at the electricity station. The electricity station is located east of Easting 93 and north of Northing 60. This means that the four-figure grid reference for the electricity station is 9360. The tourist office. The tourist office is located east of Easting 91 and immediately north of Northing 62. That means it is 9162 for the tourist office. Here we have our market. The market is located immediately east of Easting 91 and north of Northing 61. Therefore, our four-figure grid reference for the market is 9161. So you see, students, how simple it is. A four-figure grid reference is more general and a lot simpler. All right. So therefore, we just only need to remember one thing. First of all, you read the easting and then you read the northing. That is the rule. But keep this in mind whenever you're writing down these figures on your paper or in your notebook. Please do not put any form of symbols between the numbers. No decimals, no full stops, no commas, no hyphens, no slashes, nothing, not even an extra spacing. Just simply write the numbers as you would normally write the numbers. All right, next to each other. You don't have to create a specific space or any other type of symbols. Just please keep that in mind. All right, so now that you have mastered the concept of four-figure grid reference, we will now move on to the six-figure grid reference. All right, now students, so having completed, or should I say, having mastered the four-figure grid reference, it's now time to get a little bit more technical. So we're now going on to the six-figure grid reference. Now, as the name implies, we are going to have to use 6 figures or 6 numbers in order to get an exact location of a place that we're looking for. In this case, we're looking for the six-figure grid reference once again as the quarry. And as we already learned from the previous lesson, the first thing we're going to have to do is to find the four-figure grid reference of the quarry. And we're going to start by reading the easting first and then the northing. So once again, students, in order to achieve finding the six-figure grid reference of any place on the map, we have to first of all find the four-figure grid reference. Once we have achieved that, half our work is done. The next step is to then determine which is the third and sixth figures in our six-figure grid reference. Okay, so now we're looking for the six-figure grid reference of the quarry. We know already from the previous lesson, as I said a while ago, that it is 9262, which is the four-figure grid reference, right? So here we're emphasizing easting 92, northing 62. Once again, we start by reading the easting, then the northing. Okay, now let's get a little bit more technical. We are now going to have to count 9 places or make 9 markers along northing 63 and counting them off in an easterly direction to get our third figure. As the arrow indicates, we're going to count going easterly, in an easterly direction. So here we go. So first of all, we say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There we have our 9 markers that we have counted. Now, when we look at our 9 markers that we have counted, we have to now see which of them is actually in line with our quarry. All right, which is the symbol there, not the word, the symbol. All right, so when we look at it, we realize that it is the 4th marker that is actually in line with the quarry. All right, so therefore our 3rd figure would be 4. So already we know our 3 figures are 924 or 92 4. Okay, let us now try to determine our 6th and final figure. Already we know that 62 makes up the 4th and 5th figures. So now let us try to determine which is going to be the next number joining it. So in this case, we're going to count along northing 92. Sorry, we're going to count along easting 92. We're going to have our markers at easting 92 going in a northerly direction, and we're going to count going in a northerly direction as the arrow indicates. So here are our markers: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so of our 9 markers, let's see which one is actually in line with the quarry. And we count again: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We can see that the 4 is actually in line. So our 6th and final figure is, like the first one, 4. So it's going to be 62 4. Therefore, students, our 6-figure good reference for the quarry is 924 624. Once again, our 6-figure good reference for the quarry is 924 624. All right. All right, now students, we're now going to take it another notch higher. This is an actual map of Lucy, a town in Hanover, Jamaica. Now, there's a little joke I like to give about this, a little story, which is really true in Jamaican folklore. Now, in the center of Lucy Square in Hanover, there is a clock tower. The funny thing about the Lucy clock tower is that it was supposed to be going to St. Lucia, another island in the Caribbean. Well, it wasn't until the clock was sent to Lucy in Hanover, Jamaica, and was installed that the little oops factor came in. They realized they were actually delivering the clock to the wrong part of the Caribbean. Well, they didn't bother to take it back to St. Lucia. It was already bad already, so they let the clock tower stay in Lucy, Hanover, here in Jamaica. Well, let's look at it this way. The town got a free clock, courtesy of another country's expense, but that's how it is. Now, back to our map skills right here. So, the task at hand is to find the 6-figure good reference of the factory. That is the abbreviation FCTY, right? It stands for factory, and that is between Riley and Johnsontown. Now, if I get my laser pointer, I love using this thing. Here's our factory between Riley and Johnsontown, right? This is the place we're going to try to find our 6-figure good reference. So remember, students, the first thing we have to do is to locate the 4-figure good reference of the quarry. Now, looking at that map, can you tell me what is the 4-figure good reference of the quarry? I'll wait. Okay, so it is 2698. If you said that, that's good. Brilliant observation. So, along northing 99, we're going to mark off 9 places going towards the east, and we're going to count them as well. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There are our 9 markers. Now, looking at all our 9 markers, can you tell me which of them is actually in line with the factory itself, the building itself, which is this black box right here? Can you tell me which is in line with it? If we count, we see 1, 2, 3, 4. The fourth one is in line. So therefore, our third figure would be 4. Hence, we have 264 or 26,4 in this point. Alright, so we now know our first 5 figures, 26, 4, 98. But what is the 6th figure? To get that 6th figure, we're now going to count 9 places going to the north along easting 26. Similar to what we did on our basic map a while ago. So we say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so as we count going upwards, going to the north, let's see which of them is in line with our factory. So we see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, the 6th marker is actually in line with the factory. So therefore, class, our 6th and final figure is 6. So therefore, we say 98, 6. Now, let us now state our 6-figure good reference for that factory that is located between Johnsontown and Riley. So the 6th figure for that factory is 264 or 26,4, 98,6. Once again, it's 26,4, 98,6. 26,4, 98,6. Because when we count our markers going to the east, we find out that the 4th marker is in line with the factory. So we say 26,4. And when we're counting northwards, we find out it is the 6th marker that is in line with the factory. So we say 98,6. Hence, our 6-figure good reference is 26,4, 98,6. All right, let's try to find the 6-figure good reference for the road junction right here. Here we have our road junction at Escher in Hanover, just outside of the town. And we want to find out what is the 6-figure good reference of that place. Well, let's first of all try to find out what are the 4-figure good references. Now, there's a little bit of a quandary here though. Did you notice right here where the road junction is, where these two roads meet, okay, the 23 easting actually runs right through it. But that couldn't be 1, could it? It can't be 1. You see, students, the rule is if any of the eastings or the northings actually pass directly through a point for which you're looking the 6-figure good reference for, automatically we said it's a 0. So our 3rd digit in this case is going to be 0. So we say 230. Why? Because easting 23 actually runs right through the road junction. So if it passes right through the road junction, it means therefore our 3rd figure is automatically 0. So we say 23, 0 or 230. Alright? But we're still going to mark off anyway, just for the fun of it. So here we go. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we know already that since the line already passed through it, it can't be 1, it's going to automatically be 0. So our third figure is going to be 23, 0. That's the third figure, 0. So we say 23, 0. Let us now count towards the north along easting 23 to find out which of our markers will be in line with the road junction. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, so looking at that, it is our fourth marker that is actually in line with our road junction. So therefore, it will be 0, 0, 3 as our final three figures. So we say 23, 0, 0, 0, 3. Again, our six-figure good reference for the road junction at Esher is 23, 0, 0, 0, 3, because as we count northwards, our third marker is exactly at the road junction. All right, and we say 0 because easting 23 actually passed right through the road junction. So we say 23, 0, 0, 0, 3 as our sixth figure grid reference for the road junction at Esher. All right, let's have fun with one more. I want to find the six-figure grid reference for the bridge at Q, which is all the way over here. Here's the name Q, K-E-W. That's another interesting way of saying Q or spelling Q. All right, so we have our bridge right here, and we need to know what is the six-figure grid reference for our bridge. So, looking at where the bridge is located, what is the four-figure grid reference of the bridge at Q? The bridge at Q is immediately east of easting 28, and it's immediately north of northing 98. So the four-figure grid reference of the bridge at Q is 2898. Now, let us now try to determine what our third figure is going to be. So we're now going to count going towards the east along northing 99. Let us try this out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, let me use our laser here. So looking at it, 1, 2, we see that it is the second marker that is actually in line with the bridge at Q. Magnificent. So we know now that our third figure is going to be 2. So we say 28, 2. All right. Let us now see which is going to be our sixth and final figure. So we're going to now count going to the north along easting 28. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, look at it. The fifth marker is the one that is actually in line with the bridge. So therefore, our sixth and final figure is 5. So we say 98.5. Hence, the six-figure grid reference for the bridge at Q is 28.298.5. Let me repeat, 28.298.5. Once again, students, when we're writing our six-figure grid reference, please do not use any symbols whatsoever to separate the different numbers. All right? Shouldn't. No form of symbols, no extra spacing. Just write them out straight. All right? Good. So once again, students, our six-figure grid reference for the bridge at Q is 28.298.5. 28.298.5. We arrived at the 2 since easting 28 is the place where the bridge is directly east of, and we count off our 9 places and we see that our second marker is the one in line with the bridge, so we end up with 28.2. As we count going north, we realize that it is the fifth marker that is in line with the bridge, so we say 98.5. Hence we say 28.2, 98.5 as a six-figure good reference for our bridge at Q. Well, there you have it, students. That concludes our lesson for today. I hope it was fulfilling and that you have learned something new, and of course it was also clear. If not, feel free to, as usual, rewind so that you can fully understand what the lesson was teaching. Anyway, thank you very much for giving me your time and attention. Do have yourselves a great day, geographers. Take care.